Civil rights cases are very, very difficult and very hard to do, and so many of these cases, so many, just like the caller we just had on, it clearly sounds like she'd had civil rights violations. But the way the law is written,
Welcome back. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm Cynthia Becker, and I'm with Attorney Vince Davis and Attorney Connie Regulate from Tennessee. Hey, Connie, you mentioned earlier that you've established a Fourth Amendment rights in federal court in the Midwest. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So civil rights cases are very, very difficult and very hard to do, and so many of these cases and so many, just like the caller we just had on, it clearly sounds like she'd had civil rights violations. But the way the law is written, you may think you've had a Fourth Amendment violation, but if there's never been a case before you where this Fourth Amendment violation has been established, you still lose your case. We call it in civil rights litigation, it's the throwing the first plaintiff under the bus rule. So in filing, so you file civil rights litigations a lot to try to just form our rights. What are our rights? So one of the very first civil rights case I did was where the police and the CPS workers walked into the home after they had been told to wait outside. And so you have to end up going all the way to the Court of Appeals, which is a Sixth Circuit here, which is Cincinnati. And I was able to finally establish, it took until 2012 to do this, but that the Fourth Amendment applies to social workers. And believe it or not, before 2012, in the Sixth Circuit Court, there was no civil rights, there was no constitutional right to prevent or constitutional protection to prevent a social worker from walking in your home. So it's a very, very difficult and challenging thing. I was also listening to her about being forced to sign some papers. We have had a couple of cases out of Kentucky go to the Sixth Circuit Court recently on where parents are being forced to sign documents. I follow all of the cases in my Sixth Circuit that have to do with child removals, Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment violations, and it's a huge sacrifice for an attorney to even take one of these cases because they're so complicated.
Wow, that's incredible and very interesting. I would love to hear more about this. Maybe I can interview you on my show, and we can talk more about that later. But right now, let's take another call.